Hey everybody, my name is Toby Bittenbender. Welcome to my new channel, Tales from the Treadmill. Here we talk about my past addiction issues, the road to recovery, and now the light of sobriety that I've found myself in. And when I say the light of sobriety, it's because, everything just feels, the heaviness is gone. Everything just feels so much lighter in my life. I want to thank you all for being here. If you are new to my channel, please click the like and subscribe button. It will help me out. Also, if you're a returning subscriber, I just want to thank you all for being here and on this journey with me already. And listening to these stories, they're really hard to talk about, but I just wanted to address a couple things real quick. My buddy Kevin Kirkwood yesterday texted me in the morning and said that he would like to join me on this as a podcast. And it's funny because I hadn't thought about doing a podcast, but after he said that, I think I may turn this into a podcast eventually to just talk about all of this, addiction issues and stuff like that, and to talk about the stigma that's related to it, because we need to stop that. Part of the recovery process for me was my good buddy Pete did a thing called, started a thing on Facebook several years ago called Louder Than Stigma, and where he interviewed me, he interviewed like Todd from the Toadies, he interviewed a bunch of musicians about these kind of things, issues that they were struggling with, mental health issues. And I truly believe that we need to make that a normal conversation, because a lot of good people have these issues currently or are recovering from these issues. So I'm thinking, since I'm on here most every day, maybe I will turn this into a podcast and have guests come on, because like Kevin, for instance, singer in a band, and had issues himself and is now sober. We had a good talk about this a couple months ago, and his go-to thing is to go to the gym and work out, and he's all buff and everything. That's what I wanted. That's what I'm working on too. But that's his go-to thing, because it's healthy and it's a good thing to go to rather than to go to the bottle and the drugs. And I do believe that that when we're struggling with these addiction issues, whether it be alcohol or drugs, it's because we're trying to escape from some sort of trauma that we're not dealing with. But in reality, it's only making things worse. So, and also, again, like I just want to kind of talk about, because it's been brought to my attention that some of these videos, believe me, if you saw how this was set up right now, you would probably be laughing, because when I hit 1,000 days sober, I kind of decided to do this on a whim. Like, this will help me. It's kind of a cathartic thing for me to go through all of these. It's bringing up a whole lot of past trauma and pain that I've been dealing with and facing now for the last few years in my sobriety, and being able to let go of that. But at the same time, when you bring that stuff up, it just drudges up all of these negative feelings and emotions that are related to that. I mean, even last night after the video that I did yesterday, the darkest part of my life that I lived, I had these insane dreams last night related to that. I was, battling these demons basically in the dream that were, and that's just it. And it was like it was there in front of me. It was awful, and it reminded me that while I was trying to quit doing ice and meth and all that back in 2008 area. I would always have dreams where it was like it was trying to suck me back in. When I was trying to leave it, it was trying to suck me back in I was having these insane, vivid dreams about it. And I hated that. And that happened to me last night after making that video yesterday. So, but in that, I just want to say that, yes, I know this setup is very cavemanish. And so I did order a boom stand to be able to set my phone on, because if you looked at it right now, what's happening is I've got a box that a guitar was delivered in, set up behind the treadmill, and my phone is setting up on that box. And so I know that in some of these videos there's been like this clicking noise, and I'm hoping that stand is supposed to show up today. So hopefully this will be the last time that happens. Thank you again for sticking with me through these and listening to these stories. So, okay, anyway, now that I've said all that, I want to get back into where I was leaving off yesterday. So I finally was able to walk away from meth. I believe it was in 2009. I know it was either 2008, late 2008 or early 2009 that I walked away from it, and I never did it again. Never touched it again. And at that time, I felt like, wow, I was addicted. That was the first time I realized I was addicted to something, because I couldn't stop doing it. I had to seek help from my friends John and Teresa. They let me live with them for about 6 or 8 months while I was just, I lost all the numbers that I had. I threw that away, and I just stuck to myself and tried to. I relapsed several times. When I say several, I mean like 2 or 3 times. And the last time that I relapsed, April helped me out of it. So if you're curious about that, go watch my video that I put out yesterday with the Breaking Bad guys on the thumbnail. I thought that was a cool picture. But anyway, so what I'm getting into now is the 2010 to 2013 area. So, a place that an addict probably shouldn't work is a bar, because especially one that may allow you to drink on the job and stuff like that. Which again, I'm not blaming anyone else for my actions. My personal, it doesn't matter if you're able to drink or not on a job. You shouldn't abuse it, which is what I was doing. So from 2010 to 2013, I began a new job with a buddy of mine that owned a bar in Lewisville, Texas, and I was the manager. My buddy James gave me a huge opportunity to manage this bar and to bartend at the same time, and I worked my tail off. I mean, I think the first month or two we were open, or the first month we were there, I was there 30 days in a row, all day long. We were opening up the bar, and it didn't bother me. I lived right behind the bar, but I was also heavily drinking. I mean, it was insane, man. I look back on it now, and I just think, man, luckily I lived close. I mean, if I needed to, I could walk or whatever. It was right there. But, I mean, I just, and I've already talked to James about this and apologized for how I abused that position there because I was an alcoholic. And I was really going deep at that time from 2010 to 2013. We had been told that my mom, she had Parkinson's disease, and she only had a few years left to live. We knew it. We knew that, and it was coming. And I think that I was, masking a lot of that pain and trauma, and still dealing with the fact that, the band that I had spent most of my, a whole decade with, that I felt we had something special and we were gonna do big things, had blown up, and out of my control. And I was dealing with the trauma of that, but I didn't realize that at the time. And in fact, I didn't even really deal with that until probably 2019, which is crazy to think about how you bury those feelings down. But anyway, 2010 to 2013, I am out of control, alcoholic, drinking. But I didn't think that was an addiction issue. And I think that's because in society it's such a normal thing to drink alcohol that we go out, it's a drug. Anything you put into your body and it changes your chemical, chemistry. And again, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I'm just saying anything you ingest that changes your thought process, and that's a drug. And so it's just legalized, and I think it's ridiculous. In some ways it kills so many people. But, it is what it is. So I'm drinking constantly. I was working a lot. I mean, I would work my shifts, my manager shifts, but also I would bartend. And then if bartenders would inevitably not show up, be sick, or whatever it was, and I would always offer to take their shifts. So I was honestly making the most money I'd ever made in my life. I was able to do things. I had an apartment. I mean, I was getting my stuff together. But in the same time, I'm sitting here abusing this whole situation, and it's my buddy. And I look back on it, it's very embarrassing to me to think about those times. I mean, even back before that, when I was working at the bar in Lower Greenville, and to you guys, I'm sorry too that you caught me in a period of my life where, if you can imagine, you're in a rock band and you're kind of in this fantasy world of, everything, nothing seems real. You can do anything you want. It is kind of like it's crazy. It was a crazy existence. So, exiting that and trying to enter back into regular, normal society, that's a challenge for someone like me or anyone that has dealt with this, because you continue doing the same things that you were doing when you were on the road, partying and doing whatever you're doing, but now you're in normal circumstances. But anyhow, I was definitely out of control. April had me and April kind of we parted ways there for a while, which killed me. Again, not her fault. I mean, if I'd have had more of my shit together at the time, things wouldn't have gone that way. But they did. But that was very short lived. We couldn't stay away from each other. But that's one thing about April that I've always loved, is she's just accepted me at any point of, she's seen me at my best. She's also seen me at my worst, and we've seen each other like that. So, and that's what true love is to me, is sticking with someone through all of these times. So anyway, 2010, 2013, it was a mess. And so coming into 2013, I knew that things with my mom were progressing in a very bad way. And I'm going to get into that on the next video. In 2013, there was a night that at the bar in Louisville where my good buddy Jarrett from Bowling for Soup came in, and we were talking, and hanging out, and it was like a third Wednesday or Thursday night or something like that, and we were kind of relating to each other, because his granddad had Parkinson's disease and my mom. So we're talking, and during the course having a few beers, a couple shots, whatever. And when I left that night to go home, I was speeding on 35, leaving there to try to get home to April, and I got pulled over. I'm going to go into that on my next video and talk about that whole next period and everything. I'm trying to just do this quickly in segments so that we can get through this, because ultimately my goal here is I want to get to the sobriety part of this, because it's the best part of the story, to me. I mean, yes, there's a lot of details that I'm just skimming over, and so if there's anything that you want to know or any questions you have for me, if you want to throw them down in the comment section. I would love to talk to you guys about what you guys have gone through or are currently going through. I don't know about y'all, but every time there's a full moon, I can't sleep very well. I wake up at 3 o'clock or 3:30 in the morning, and then I just lay there, not being able to sleep. And so that's been happening to me the last couple of nights. But anyhow, listen, guys, thank you again for being here. I really appreciate you sticking this out with me while I figure this whole thing out, the logistics of it. I appreciate all of your questions and comments. Constructive criticism, I'm here for it, because listen, I'm always about learning. You should always be open to learning, and everyone has something to share that you can learn from them. Children, it's adults, the teacher can be the student. You got to remember that. I've got to remember that. So I just appreciate everybody being here and sticking this out with me. So thanks for being on the road to recover with me, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. I know I will, and I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Thanks.